Hey, how you doing? It is a Saturday night and I am stuck at home, so I decided to put some effort into Turkish baklava. It's so yummy, and I've cooked this recipe about 5 times before, so it's very familiar to me. So let's get to the ingredients. So for Turkish baklava, comes from Turkey, and it's layers and layers of filo dough with walnuts and pistachios, and it's so gooey and definitely on the sweet side. So you can make it last for a long time. A whole pan, you can keep it for the family, you can give it away, and you still have enough. So the ingredients are 1 1/2 cups pistachio nuts. So this is what I got from Costco. This is my stock of pistachio nuts for snacking and my desserts. 1 cup of walnuts. So here is my other stock. This has so much protein and omegas in it that I love to keep these in the house. So that's 1 cup of walnuts. 3 tablespoons of sugar. Okay, this is my house sugar. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So my house cinnamon. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. So that is ground cloves. So it has a really strong smell. So the recipe only requires 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. So my house salt. Okay, so that is the nut mixture that goes between all those layers and layers of dough. So what that dough actually is called filo dough or filo dough. It's really thin dough and it breaks easy. So a lot of patience when you're laying it down in the pan to be cooked. So I'll show you how. I'm gonna make this easy for you so that you don't feel intimidated when it's your turn to make it. Your family and friends will be amazed. Okay, so that is 1 pound of filo dough. This is 16 ounces, 1 pound, and the size I think is 9 by 14. So you'll see me cutting off maybe 1 inch off the length so that will fit in this 9 by 13 pan. So I'll measure it. Okay, so that is 1 pound of filo dough. 1 cup of butter melted. So I have my melted butter here. This is my go-to butter. This is the only one I like to use. It's by Kirkland Salted Sweet Cream Butter, and it does magic for all my desserts. So I always have something on hand. I have this on hand for something that comes up that I want to make. So I always keep a stock of this for sure. So part of after the baklava is cooked is pouring the sweet sauce over the top. So the sweet sauce is 3/4 cup sugar cooked in 1/2 cup of water, and then when that is cooked, then you add the 1 cup of honey. So the honey is a distinct sauce in the baklava, and yeah, it makes it so sweet. So only in moderation, all right? So we're gonna open up the filo dough. Move this around a little bit. So here is the filo dough. It comes like this. And I would open it up carefully because yes, it's very delicate, and yes, you could still work with it if it breaks, but it just makes it a little bit harder to lay down if they're broken. So I defrosted these because they come in the grocer's freezer, and then I'm just going to try to carefully roll it out. So that is what it's looking like. It's really thin. It's so thin. It's even thinner than saran wrap. And they break so easy. So I'm just going to try to be really careful with them. Okay. So if this is going to be your first time making it, it's okay to have 2 boxes of dough on hand, just in case it just totally breaks in half. Okay. Alright, so this is much, much thinner than lumpia wrapper for sure. Okay, so I'm just going to slowly stretch it out. Okay, and I'm going to measure one against the 9 by 13 pot here to see what the actual measurement is. So just what I predicted. This is a 9 by 13 pan, and this dough is 9 by 14. So what I'm going to have to do is, on all the sheets, I'm going to carefully cut off about 1 inch off the long edge right here. So this is actually the long edge towards me, and this is the short edge. So I'm going to cut off 1 inch off of the short edge. Okay. Okay, got my scissors here. So I am going to just, here we go. Let me just see if these are all kind of measured, kind of the edges together. So here we go. I'm going to cut off about 1 inch. It's kind of scary when you cut off that. You can never go back to it. So I'm just going to cut off that inch. I'm going to go for it. Okay. But definitely keep this inch if you have any, gonna have any holes in your pastry, because they break so easily. Okay, so we got that cut. That was the most important part. Now the second part that's very important is the nut mixture. So here we go. 1 1/2 cups of pistachio nuts. Okay. 1 1/2 cups of pistachio nuts. 1 cup of walnuts. 1 cup of walnuts right here. Okay. 3 tablespoons of sugar. 1, 2, 3. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so I got my cinnamon here, 1 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Okay, got my 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves here. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Oops, just spilled a little bit. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Okay, I'm gonna grind that up. So here we go. This is a very important part of the recipe, where we have to grind this as fine as we can. Okay, cover your ears. It's gonna be loud. So almost there. Just another. Okay. Yeah, looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. That's what I expected it to be. Okay, so I am am going to go ahead and add all my nuts into this bowl. So when I am separating the nuts for the recipe, because it needs to be evenly separated, I can see what I'm working with. Okay, so here we go. Here is the nut mixture. Just what I wanted it to be like. So we are going to be separating this nut mixture into fourths. So kind of like go like this to it so that I know, I cut it into fourths so I know what I'm grabbing when I start laying my dough down. Okay, so that was a very, very important step in the recipe. So now we're going to start laying the dough down. So that's another important step, and you watch me do it. But I want to tell you what the formula is. So the formula is 12 layers, then 2 layers, then 2 layers, 2 layers, and then 12 again. So it goes 12, 2, 2, 2, and 12. So that is 12 on the bottom, and then 1/4 of the spread after that 12, and then 2 layers of the dough, and then 1/4 of the spread after that, then 2 layers of the dough, 1/4 of the spread, 2 layers of the dough, 1/4 of the spread, and 2 layers. Okay, so if you could get that formula down, maybe you want to write it down, because I really had to try to work it out so that I can film this video. It goes 12, and then 1/4 layer, 1/4 spread, then 2 layers, then 1/4 spread, then 2 layers, then 1/4 spread, 2 layers, 1/4 spread, and then 12 layers. So you're going to see me do that really quick, and then I will show you what I'm going to do just to cut it up, and then I can end the video, cook it, and then I'll come back with it cooked. Okay? And then I'll also show you how to make the sauce. I'll probably do that ahead of time so the video is not so long. All right, so what we have to do is take the butter. Okay, so you'll see it right there. Take the butter that we melted and grease the bottom. Okay, just like that. And then we go ahead and put 1 layer. And I hope I don't lose count. So each layer has to be greased, okay? If you can tolerate it. I guess if you want to put down 2 at a time, that's fine. But for the purpose of the video, I'll just do it one by one. So that's 1 layer. This is 2 layers. Okay, so I actually picked up some extra layers. So this is layer number 2. Okay, I'm going to grease that up. Layer number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Halfway there, my friends. Oh boy. Number 5. So this broke off, but not to worry when it breaks. You just lay it down the way that it's supposed to lay down. Okay, so 5, this is 6. Okay, so you get the gist. I'm almost there. I'm halfway there with the 12 layers. So I'm just going to try to speed it up. 11. And this is definitely not a diet food, that's for sure. This is 8. This is 9. This is 10. You can see it really good there. This is number 10. This is number 11. So you see it ripped there, but don't worry about it. Just kind of lay it down. So if I didn't lose count, I think this is 11. And this is 12. If my kids were awake, they would help me count because it's so distracting. So this is 12 or 11. But let's say it's 12. Okay, so 12, here we go. So the formula, it goes 12, then 1/4 portion of the nuts. Okay, so 1/4 portion is this much. All right, so you kind of just sprinkle it over the top here. Okay, so we got 1/4 portion. So the formula is 12 layers, 1/4 portion, then 2 layers. So here is 2 layers. So I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to put on 2 layers and then put the oil over that, the butter over that. Okay, I'm just going to super butter this up so it absorbs the 2 layers good. Okay. All right, so that was 1/4 portion that I put in earlier, then 2 layers. So this is another 1/4. Okay, so I'm watching my portions carefully so I know where I'm at. Okay, then do another 2. All right, you sticking with me here? Okay, so that was another 2. So this is almost to the very last portion. Okay, so portioning these nuts out like the way I did helped you keep count. Okay, so this is the last layer of 2. Okay. All right. Okay, so here is my last 1/4 portion. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and generously put it over. Okay, so here is my last portion of 1/4 nut mixture, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so it looked evenly kind of spread out the way that I wanted it to be. Now, you got to open up the second package of the filo dough, because we have to do the last 12 layers. Yes, the last 12 layers. Okay, so I'm going to carefully open it. Okay. One is sticking to the package. All right. So, remember earlier I cut off about 1 inch off the edge there. Because we need to fit it in the 9 by 13 pan. Okay, I'm gonna wash my hands, start all over again. All right, we are almost done. So hang in there, okay? So I could show you the end product. So I'm gonna do 2 layers at a time to make it fast because I'm comfortable. But if you have the time, go ahead and do 1 layer at a time. So this is 2. This is the very last 12 layers. So, but I am just going to do it 2 at a time here. But like I said, if you want to do it 1 at a time, then you can do that too. So that's 2. This is 4. And 12 might seem a lot, but when it cooks down, it seems to get even thinner. So it's just a formula so that it will work out the way that it's supposed to, thick on the bottom and thick on the top to keep all the ingredients stuck together. So that was 2, this is 4. Okay, this is 6. Are you sticking with me? 6. And this is 8. 8. Almost there. This is 8. And this is 10. Oh boy, almost there. Okay, so we just about ran out of butter, so I have to warm up just a few cups of butter here. And I'll be right back with you. All right, here we go. So if I remember right, this is 10. Oh boy, I wish my kids were watching me so I could remember the count. But there's no wrong way of how many layers you put. So this is 10, and this is my last 2 layers. This is 12. Okay, so to me, it looks pretty good. Looking good, looking good. All right. Oh, yes, I got through that. That was a 12, 2, 2, 2, and a another 12 layers, and I got through that in 25 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut them the way that you see them cut in the store, put in the oven, and then I'll come back with the finished product. So I'm going to have you watch me cut them. So I have two knives. I got these for a Christmas present at my work party, but I have these two black knives. I'm going to start with this one that has the serrated edge. So the instruction says is cut 3 across the short side and then cut 6 across the long side. So here we go. Okay, 3 across the short side. So this is the short side. So I'm supposed to cut 3 across. And I guess it's actually good to cut it beforehand so that it's vented. And then you could just recut it again after it's cooked. But yes, I like the idea of cutting it before you cook it. So 3 across the short side is what I'm doing. And 6 across the long side. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Well, hopefully I can get 6. We'll go for it though. So I'm going to cut it in half this way first. Okay, cut it this way. So it's mostly working out the way that I'm cutting it. And this is a DIY. It's very hard to find this baklava anywhere here where I live. So if you're a happy-go-lucky party goer and love to bring snacks, then yes, people will know you spent a lot of time on this one. And if you were to buy an individual square, it would be so expensive, probably $2 for $5 per square. So if I tried to sell this, which I don't, I could make 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, almost $50. But I don't sell my stuff. I just make it for the videos and eat a little bit and then share a lot of it. Okay, so I'm going to switch knives for the very last haul of it. See if I get a better cut. Okay, so I went ahead and did 3 across and 6 across, and it gave me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 squares. So I'm going to further cut it into triangles, but I'll probably do that after it's cooked because I noticed that the dough is sticking to the knives. So I'll just wait for that after they're done. Anyways, I got a large portion of it and I'll show you too how I cut it after it's done. And then I'm seeing that some of it is kind of needs a little bit more help with the butter. So I'm just going to butter it up more. And then I'm going to, with my leftover nuts here, I'm going to sprinkle some on the top just to give it kind of like a cute little look here. But not too much because we don't want the nuts to be burned when it's cooking. So just a little bit of sprinkle what's left over is okay. And then after cooking, if you want to put more, you could do that. But just to make it pretty, put a little bit of the sprinkles of the nuts that were grounded and left behind. All right. right, there you go. This is ready to go in the oven. I would say about 350 for close to an hour, and let's see what happens. But I'm gonna keep checking it because every oven is different, so we don't want burnt baklava. So I could walk away, but I'll definitely keep checking it. All right, I will see you when the product is done. Take care. Thanks for sticking in there. So I am back. So I had the baklava in the oven at 350 for my oven about 50 minutes, 50 minutes. So it turned out good. So I'm just letting it sit in the oven right now while I'm cooking the honey sauce. So I have this sugar. So this is 3/4 cup sugar and 1/2 cup water. Recommendation is to let it cook for about 5 minutes. So the 5 minutes will be up really soon. And it's cooking well. This is a little tabletop skillet that I got at Bed Bath & Beyond. And it works well for a saucepan. And yeah, almost there. So once this is 5 minutes, I am going to go ahead and just pour the honey into it. So this is the honey I showed earlier, the organic raw honey from Costco. And then I'm going to take that sauce and pour it all over the cooked baklava. So it is midnight right now. It's so funny, but for something that needs this kind of concentration, it's kind of good that I have some time to kind of film and kind of concentrate on the video. So this is one of the very special desserts that I really, really wanted to showcase on one of the videos because it's such a unique dessert and it's a DIY. You can't really find this dessert in other places, and if you do find it in one of your local like shops, it's really expensive. And so if you have the patience and the courage to do it, yes, do it, and you will not regret it, that's for sure, and your family will love it. So it's a bit in about 5 minutes, so I'm going to definitely turn this off because this is boiling hot sugar. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and unplug it so there's no mistake that it is off. So my next step is to add the 1 cup of honey. So you can see me add it right there. So this honey is a star ingredient in the baklava. You can't miss it. And that's what makes baklava so distinct. I'm just trying to think of any other desserts that I've cooked with honey like this, and I don't really recall anything that comes close to this. So I'm just going to push that aside. Okay, and then I'm going to take out my baklava. Here it is. This is the baklava, such a pretty color. The baklava at 350, about 50 minutes, 50 minutes, and it turned out the way that I was hoping it would turn out. I'm very pleased. So you can see the edges crispy and the tops are crispy. I'm going to get you a picture of it, a good look at it before I pour all the sauce on, because it is such a distinct dessert that is totally known for its crispy edges. So let me see if I could manage to get one to you before I pour the sauce. Okay, there you go. Oh, kind of hot. So there is the crispy edges. You saw me lay it on the video. Here is another crispy edge. So that's at 12 layers, and then all the other layers, so you get a better view of it here. All right, there you go. So 12 layers on the bottom, the 1/4 of the nut mixture, then 2, then 1/4 of the nut mixture, then 2, 1/4 nut mixture, 2, and then the 12. So it's definitely showing there. So I did extensive work trying to get that in, but I really wanted to show you how it came out. Let's get another one. Let's try to see if we could get another one in the middle. And I think I'm just gonna leave. The traditional baklava has a maybe I'll cut a few triangle squares, but I might just leave them in squares, regular squares. Okay, let's see if I can get this one out. Oh, there you go, it's coming up, lifting up. Okay, so here you go. There you go. All right. A much prettier one with some great edges. Okay, and here is the other edge. So, yes, definitely this turned out the way that I was hoping to. So we're going to put that back down. And then we're going to go ahead and scoop the honey mixture into it now. So you watch me scoop it in. So I'm going to put this right here. There you go. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop the hot honey mixture on top for the final touches. So just going to go ahead and do it like this. So it's weird, even though this honey mixture is all sugar and liquid, the actual baklava will still retain its crispiness. It won't make it super soggy where you won't get the crisp, but the top will still maintain its crispiness. Try to bring one square up to you after it's done, but these kind of, I guess, would have to, I guess you would say it would have to marinate overnight. And I have found in the past that you might have some of the syrup left over. You could leave some of the syrup over because it left over. Leave it be because it might be too much syrup anyways. So I probably have like two of these left over, and that's okay. So let me bring that middle piece up to you again after it's been soaked. And then you get the classic look at the classic baklava, what it's supposed to look like. It smells so good. So there it is, soaked. Alright, so let's just let it soak a little bit more, and then I'm gonna put it on a drying rack overnight. And I have some lucky family that gets to eat this tomorrow, so hopefully they eat it all up so I don't eat it all up. Okay, so we went extensively over the ingredients, and if you forget to write it down, just definitely hit rewind. And I also put it in the drop down arrow right underneath the video. I'll also put the ingredients in text, and you can kind of research it there or reference it there. But definitely try this, okay? I'll let you go. Please take care.